All right, let's kick off this explainer. I want you to do something super simple for me. Go look in a mirror right now.
What color are your eyes? You know, it's really easy to think of that color as just a cosmetic thing, right? Like a random roll of the genetic dice. But actually, it's not random at all. That color is a straight-up biological legacy. It literally reveals exactly where your ancestors traveled, the extreme environments they faced, and how they managed to conquer the planet.
Because your eye color is quite literally a genetic time capsule. In this explainer, we're going to decode exactly what your specific eye color says about your own evolutionary history. We'll look at how your eyes are actually built as these incredible survival machines. And I promise you, the science behind how you ended up with your specific eye color is going to absolutely blow your mind. You will honestly never look at people the same way again.
So, over 70% of all humans have brown eyes. Now think about what that means for a second. It means everyone else, that remaining roughly 30% of the global population, carries these incredible genetic mutations. And these mutations aren't just weird little quirks. They represent completely different evolutionary survival advantages that were absolutely necessary for human migration and for surviving in vastly different climates.
Section 1. Biological shields of survival. We're looking at brown and black eyes. Let's start with the absolute foundation of all human eyes, which is brown. It's the most common color on Earth, but please don't let that fool you into thinking it's basic. For early humans crossing the African savanna, having brown eyes acted as the ultimate biological shield.
This deep, rich color comes from melanin. And this melanin absorption, it wasn't about looking good. It was about pure survival. It basically acts like a built-in sunscreen directly inside your iris, absorbing up to 90% of the light entering the eye. This protected our ancestors' DNA from brutal UV radiation and prevented glare. So it gave them crystal clear vision in intense, unrelenting sunlight.
Now, true black eyes actually don't exist. They are just extremely dense, dark brown melanin. The crucial point here is that in equatorial regions, this super dense melanin provided maximum protection from UV rays. But there's a really fascinating cultural side effect to this too. Because the iris is so incredibly saturated, it makes emotional pupil dilation way harder to read. Throughout history, this kind of inscrutability has projected this powerful aura of mystery and strength.
Moving on to Section 2, the single ancestor mutation. This covers blue and gray eyes. Let's see how this evolutionary story builds as humanity actually migrated away from the equator and up into colder, darker climates, where we experience an absolutely astonishing genetic shift.
Okay, this is one of the most incredible facts in all of human genetics. Every single person on Earth right now with blue eyes descends from exactly one ancestor. Just one. This single person lived roughly 6,000 to 10,000 years ago and developed a mutation in a gene called HERC2. And this mutation simply switched off the body's ability to produce brown pigment in the iris. Literally, before this one person, everyone on Earth had brown eyes.
And here is the craziest part about all of this. There is actually zero blue pigment in a blue iris. None at all. It's just pure physics. Because there is almost no melanin, longer light wavelengths pass right through, while the shorter blue wavelengths scatter back out. It's exactly the same light scattering effect that makes the sky appear blue.
Scientists were totally baffled by how fast this mutation spread. I mean, it went from 0 to up to 95% of the population in parts of Northern Europe. This led to two main theories. Theory 1 is a functional advantage. Basically, with no melanin blocking the light, more photons could reach the retina. That was a massive advantage for hunting in those dim, low-light Northern European winters. Theory 2, sexual selection. It was simply so rare and visually striking that it became an incredibly attractive trait for finding a mate.
Now, pushing even further into extreme environments, we have gray eyes. These are found in less than 3% of humans. And get this, gray eyes actually have even less melanin than blue eyes. This causes them to scatter multiple light wavelengths, which creates that distinctive, steel-like look. Functionally, this helped our ancestors see under constant overcast skies and near darkness. Though, the evolutionary trade-off here is that it left them highly vulnerable to UV damage.
All right, Section 3, the rare genetic cocktails. We're talking green, hazel, and amber. So from the extremes of light and dark, let's explore the rarest and most complex mutations in the human spectrum. This is where genetics decided to mix up the ultimate visual cocktails.
Green is actually the rarest common eye color out there, with only 2% of humans hitting this specific genetic lottery. It requires a very precise recipe.
moderate melanin, a yellow pigment called lycochrome, and at least 16 different genes working in absolute perfect balance. And because of this mix, green eyes are chemically unstable. They're highly sensitive to environmental changes and literally shift color with the light. That dynamic, shifting quality is exactly why medieval folklore so often associated green eyes with witchcraft, mystery, and supernatural powers.
Then we have hazel eyes, which represent about 5% of the population. These are the true evolutionary chameleons. Their intermediate melanin levels actually physically change appearance based on lighting, what you're wearing, and your surroundings. Back in the day, this offered our ancestors incredible evolutionary versatility. It perfectly equipped them for mixed sun and shade environments, changing seasons, and totally variable climates.
But, unlike the shifting, unpredictable nature of hazel eyes, we have incredibly rare amber eyes, again, found in less than 5% of people. Amber eyes are solidly golden or copper. This is due to high levels of that lipochrome pigment and very little melanin, and they never change color. What's really fascinating here is that the stable golden coloration is super common in predatory animals, like wolves and eagles. Because of that, humans actually subconsciously associate amber eyes with alertness, intensity, and just overall capability.
Section 4. Visual asymmetry, or heterochromia. Now, let's look at what happens when the genetic symmetry we usually expect to see in the human face breaks down completely.
So this is heterochromia. It's when you have different colored eyes, or really noticeable variations within a single iris. It occurs in less than 1% of the population, usually due to localized genetic mutations or something called mosaicism during early development. Now, obviously, our early ancestors didn't exactly have a scientific term like genetic mosaicism, right? So they created all these mythologies around these striking mismatched irises. They often viewed them as signs of divine favor, duality, or some kind of supernatural connection.
Section 5. Your living ancestral map. When we pull all of this together, it becomes so clear that every single color we've looked at today represents thousands of years of survival, adaptation, and epic migration across this planet.
From the dense, melanin shields of the ancient African savannas to a single mutation in Ice Age Europe, all the way to those rare multi-gene cocktails of green and amber, your eyes really are a living ancestral map. The next time you look in the mirror, remember that you aren't just seeing a cosmetic color. You are staring at the living proof of your ancestors' incredible journey and their ultimate will to survive.
So here's my final question for you. What color are your eyes? And based on what we've covered today, what does that actually tell you about your ancestral background? If this explainer blew your mind about your own genetics, let us know your eye color and your background in the comments. Share this with someone whose genetic time capsule you're curious about, and keep exploring the history written right there in your own DNA.